I know people that for everything that they eat, there's a bottle of soda that goes with it. So I want for you, in your authority, to quickly tell them the reason why water is cheaper than soda and why water is better for them.
Imagine you had a white handkerchief, and imagine that's your body. Imagine you pouring a malt drink every day. Would you want the state of your body to look like that? Water has a cleansing effect. We have different organs in the body that need to be hydrated. So it's important we take water. Depending on your body size, but it's advisable about 2 to 3 liters of water every day. And people assume, I'm drinking a soft drink, a soda. No, it counts also. But some of those drinks have the caffeine, which are also dehydrating agents. So they dehydrate you. So you think you're hydrating, meanwhile you're dehydrated.
Ever wondered why your baby struggles to gain healthy weight and eat healthy meals? Or why you can't shake off that postpartum depression? Why you constantly feel tired regardless of how much sleep you get? Look, in today's Nigeria, 1 in 3 children under 5 have stunted in growth. About 35% of new moms experience severe postpartum depression. Adult obesity is off the roof. Sleep deprivation is ridiculously on the rise. And this isn't just happening in small numbers. These aren't just numbers even. They are the real struggles of Nigerians in homes, in workplace, and in life generally. My guest today is someone who totally understands these challenges, Mosebolatan Adebiyi. She is a certified holistic health coach trained under global wellness leaders like Tony Robbins, Matthew Walker, and Barbara O'Neill. She helps people heal naturally by addressing the body as a complete system. Because true health isn't just about diet. It's about the balance in your gut health. It's about the balance in your hormones. It's about sleep. It's about sunlight. It's about emotional wellness. Today, we are diving into the big questions. How can mothers nourish their children? What really causes postpartum depression? And how can we break free? Why are so many Nigerians tired, obese, and stressed? And what simple, natural habits can you start right now to turn things all around? If you've ever felt lost in your health journey, this episode would give you hope. It will give you clarity, and it will give you practical steps to make that change from inside out. Join me in the LIMBsimple Podcast with Mrs. Mosebolatan Adebiyi. I am Nelvis Hazel. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me.
You look so beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'd like us to start our conversation with our plates.
Okay.
Right. And let's go all the way to a couple of the statistics that I have, right? And I want us to even maybe debate this. Statistics from the Food and Agriculture Organization says that in Nigeria, most adults aren't eating balanced diets. Narrowing it down, the research shows that the average Nigerian consumes about 45 grams of protein per day, which is well below their recommendation of 54 grams of protein. Now, I feel, and I might be wrong, but I think that these statistics isn't really in our favor. Maybe because of the kind of food that we eat. So what's your thoughts on it? Let's start with that.
Okay, thank you for that. So, first, I would say that statistics, I would question it because if you look on the average in our society, most of our foods are carbohydrates and people just use the protein to support it. So, and now looking at the rate of inflation and all, and how things have become so expensive, it's very difficult for the average person to be able to afford to have protein on his or her plate. So, and that's why I don't know what class of people were studied to have gotten that. Maybe the bourgeois. But again, the good thing working in our favor is, to a large extent, we still have very organic protein.
Sure.
Yeah. And that's one good thing when you have to look at the beefs. But I can't say so much about poultry.
I agree. I've seen a couple of videos,
Yes. And but it's largely animal protein. Other sources of protein we like beans, eggs, but apart from that, really, we don't have too many. I mean, there are the chickpeas, the quinoas, but
quite expensive too.
It's exactly. So it's not like readily available. So honestly, I would say the grams, they're being conservative, is probably lower than that. Yeah.
Okay, so talking about the fact that the Nigerian meal is predominantly carbohydrate, and if we're talking to, say, simple Nigerians living on a rather moderate budget, some people feel that eating healthy, I mean, as much as it sounds great, is really insanely expensive right now. And I'm saying it was already this expensive regardless of the inflation that the current country is currently experiencing, right? However, is it possible for a Nigerian right now to eat a balanced meal that ticks off everything that they need for sustenance?
Yes, I would say it's very possible. And I don't know what it felt like in your generation growing up, but growing up, for me, rice was special. It was a Sunday thing. Yes, it was a Sunday thing. We looked forward to eating rice Sunday afternoon. So, and we had this debate recently with some friends. And we're like, what were we eating back then, But when I have to now look at it, beans is a very good source of protein. And you could eat it in different forms. You can have it as akara. You can have it as moi moi. You can have it even in your begiri, porridge beans, because sometimes it's just about you varying it. You're not reinventing anything, varying it. Like, it's annoying when you go to, I almost mentioned one of the common fast food restaurants. I went in there and I saw 10 versions of rice. And I said,
that's true.
There's
village rice, there's basmati rice, there's fried rice with chicken, there's fried rice with beef.
There's asun fried rice. I said, the only thing you have here. So I said, it's only rice you're offering me. He said, no, madam, there's a lot. I said, no, it's only rice. So it's about us awakening in that consciousness to say no. And that's why we're having a rise in obesity. Yeah, because we're eating too many carbs. Yeah, we're not supporting it with protein. Proteins are supposed to be like the main building blocks. Yeah, the carbs are just supposed to be the support, but it's the reverse. But
I had a conversation with Winifred Wanya a couple of months ago on the podcast, and she is a food expert. She as well as a self-improvement expert too, and she was talking about how she gave us a very quick meal style that would help Nigerians that maybe don't have a lot of budget. But what I found, the problem, I mean, with a lot of Nigerians that I think would be is that we eat for satiation, not for nutrition. So as much as her advice was that, like you said, let's say you're eating like swallow, right? And you said begiri, a good source of protein, and say your amala is supposed to be carb, and then your meat, maybe it's one beef, maybe it's one fish together. Then I find, right, that the proportion for buying the food is like this: amala 800. And then the protein is 200. And so at the end of the day, you are so satisfied. But then, because proteins are supposed to satiate you, after like 1 hour in, you're hungry again.
Yes.
And then you eat a lot of food, but you're not also meeting your protein. Maybe not even your protein target, because now that's me thinking about the gym rats, right? But maybe talk to me a little more about how we can infuse fibers into our meals.
So if you're more intentional about having more veggies, it has a way, because it has fiber, it has a way of satiating you. Yeah. And you may not be able to afford. And I tell people, please, more is not, please, when people are talking about process, please remove more. It's not, it's just the skin. Yeah. Because you see some plates sometimes and you're like, oh my goodness. Like, are you kidding me? No, but investing a lot in vegetables, it really helps. Because it fills you up. Then you can have a bit of carb. And then, of course, your protein. Yeah, so, but I totally get it. People feel, it's expensive. But they don't understand the long-term effect of chronic ailments. They don't understand that them getting in a lot of processed foods is harming their gut. Yeah, and it's harming their guts, causing diseases. They don't realize then they're having to go take medication because of what they ate. So sometimes when I look at the average worker is eating like bread and Coke in the morning, and I'm like, oh my goodness. For him, he just wants to load up.
Yes.
Till 6 p.m. Yes. And he eats something, maybe apple or something else, and he's done. And pretty much my job is really to get word out there. Let people live in this consciousness. When you become conscious and aware of what you're putting in, that it matters, then it helps you take informed decisions on what you eat on a day-to-day basis. So you can now get there and say, okay, you know what? Can I have a little more soup? Of course, because you're paying for it anyway, and you have your swallow, and you can eat, have your protein to go with it.
I mean, I totally agree with you. I feel like it's important that people start to understand that food can heal you.
Of course.
And we shouldn't just eat. We're not animals. We shouldn't just eat food because instinctively we are hungry. We should eat to, even though for sustenance, but for wellness, right? I think we should talk now about a very, very, very dreaded conversation. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it because I know that it's your forte. It's something that you're so good at. And it's postpartum depression.
Okay.
When I say that it's something that doesn't get a lot of attention, I'll tell you what the statistics says. It says that in Nigeria, between 22% and 45% of new mothers experience postpartum depression, with the highest report in urban centers like Lagos. And that means that 1 in 3 moms are silently struggling with postpartum depression. But yet, in many families, it is dismissed as normal baby blues. And there are so many women that are dying, literally dying and some are dying in silence. My question then would be, why is it a hidden conversation? Why isn't nobody talking about it? Why are we acting like it doesn't exist?
Honestly, I think statistics is higher than that.
Okay.
Because there'll be a lot of unreported cases.
I agree.
And I think we've found ourselves in a situation whereby the society believes you're an African woman, you need to be strong. And God help you that you actually waited. It took a while to have these kids. Then how dare you say you're sad?
Be ungrateful.
Exactly. Just feel you're ungrateful, and it's not a lot of new moms especially. It does happen to moms that are going on their second or third rodeo, but I think they can manage it a bit better.
A little experience helps.
Yes. But when it's your first time, nobody tells you, like, until you find yourself and you're like, but what's going on? They say, oh, we all went through it. Yeah, it's normal. And nobody tells you have to wake up every 2-3 hours to feed a baby. Nobody tells you you're going to shift your regular clock, your normal circadian rhythm, to that of the babies. They'll tell you, oh, you better sleep when the baby's sleeping and be awake. I mean, there were times, I have a set of triplets, and there were times I did videos at night, in the middle of the night, because that was playtime. And you just have to work with their time. But of course, you have other things you want to do during the day. Yeah. And people don't talk about it enough because it just makes you feel ungrateful. It makes you feel weak. You feel your other women went through it. You didn't hear their story. So why should yours be different? Yeah. And it's something I think we need to get out there so that when people feel certain ways, they can call out for help.
You did say something about having to sync your own circadian rhythm to fit that of a child, and also but I mean, what I find is that I've heard women say that this child took away the happiest times of my life. I've heard women say that this child took away the love that my partner has for me. This child has changed the way that my body looks, changed the way that I feel about my body. But what I want to know is, are there triggers to it? And if they are, how can we work around this? How can we help these women in struggling with this?
Okay, so first, family support is very important because a new mom has to tend to a baby that's helpless. Yeah, the baby feels too hot, the baby cries. Feels too cold, cries. Is hungry, cries. Wheeze, cries. Is having a tummy upset, cries. Like, you're like, what is wrong with you?
You know what is funny? This child cannot even talk.
You can't talk. So it's almost like it's a checklist.
Yes.
Have you checked the diaper? Check. Okay, is it feeling hot? Oh no, what's the temperature? So you're going through all of that. Yeah. And sometimes they just want to be held. They just want to be held. And they want you to hold them standing, not you sitting. So imagine all that going through the mind of a new mom, and imagine she doesn't have a family support. Imagine she doesn't have an older mom or someone that has gone through it that could say, oh, this is what this child is going through. Yeah, she just feels frustrated, and all of a sudden she's like, what did I get myself into? You were happy when you heard the cry of a baby and like, oh my God, I'm not a mom. To, wait a minute, nobody told me this part. And you hear people say, oh, it's normal. And you wish they told you. Maybe you will have considered not having a baby, or at least prepared yourself for it. So that's the support. Then sleep. Because typically when you just have a baby, they feed every 2 to 3 hours, depending on your baby. God help you. you have a hungry baby. That's what I call them. You have a hungry baby. My kid sister, her baby is always hungry. Always got to. She wanted to do 6 months exclusive. By the second month, she's like, no. I'm done. And she had to go get formula. There's a formula for hungry babies, not a regular formula. It's a bit more dense to fill them up.
That.
Yes. So imagine a mom that doesn't know that. And she happened to be in the US. Then we had babies together. So imagine a mom not knowing that there's even a formula and the one for hungry babies. But again, remember that she's a new mom. Also, the society kind of frowns at it when you feel, no, I can't do this breastfeeding thing. I want to go to the formula. And they're like, oh, you're just lazy.
You're not mom enough.
You're not mom enough. Were you not breastfed? Why are you going to deprive your child? And you start feeling guilty, for something that maybe is totally not your fault. Maybe you're not lactating enough. And that takes you back to another aspect. Is the new mom feeding well? Who is looking out for her nutrition? All they're telling her is drink pap, your milk will flow. Are you ensuring that she's getting good food?
Sorry, you just said drink pap, her milk will flow. Look at, right? I have a texture problem, a texture aversion to some food. I do not like anything gelatinized. I can't drink pap. I can't drink custard. Oats for me is an acquired taste because of like the consistency of it. Me. Now, when I do have babies, I will be told to drink.
They'll offer you palm wine.
Good option.
They'll offer you palm wine and to take the palm wine.
I'll take that.
So for instance, I had elevated high blood pressure. Throughout my pregnancy, I didn't have. 2 weeks after having the babies, because you're under pressure to pump. No, I had triplets. How do you produce for 3 babies? And they came out in the 32nd week. Ooh. So which meant your body wasn't ready for it. Right. So it put a lot of pressure on me, and I still needed to be a wife. Yeah, in that moment.
Look at
So I didn't realize, and all of a sudden I just realized, I was like, I'm having a headache, and I called the hospital just casually because it said anything, call. And I'm like, I'm having a headache. Said they're sending an ambulance. When I looked at the cost of an ambulance coming, I said, I will make it. I will take an Uber. And I got there and they're like, your blood pressure is off the roof. And I'm just like, how? The babies weren't even with me at home. But just the pressure of being a new mom, pressure of having to pump, pressure of having to also be a wife, take care of the home, organize certain things, was there. And they kept me, of course, they held me back and did a couple of medical things, and the blood pressure came down. But I quickly learned that I need to take care of myself. In all of this, I should come first. So it's a lot that a new mom has to deal with. And she's not prepared.
I mean, if there's anything that I'm taking out from this is that, especially as a young lady that isn't, it's very important who you choose to have kids by.
Definitely.
Because that could drastically determine if childbirth becomes a thing of joy, a thing of, premium sadness. Because imagine, most women have to go through, childbirth, go through breastfeeding, and still feel the compulsion to satisfy their partners.
Of course.
And I just feel like, how more inhumane can you possibly be? I mean, I really don't to that.
And I had a client that she was going through postpartum depression. How did I even get to meet her. It was just a WhatsApp group. Someone said, please, I'm looking for a psychiatrist. I have a friend. I think she's going through postpartum depression. She needs to go on meds immediately. And I was like, I chatted. I said, I think I can help her. I said, no, you don't understand. She's suicidal. That they've caught her trying to kill herself. I said, but I think I can help her. And they're like, oh, okay, for what is what, you might as well try. And I had certain conversations with her. By this time, I was still in Port Harcourt. She was in Lagos. It was virtual. And had conversations with her husband. And something that hit me, one day she said she had already gotten a knife. She was going to slit her wrist and bleed out through the night. But she said she turned to her husband. He was sleeping. And she was like, and he's such a loving and supportive husband. Why would I want to do this to him? Am I going to leave this baby for him? And that was the only reason she didn't kill herself that night. Because of her husband. And imagine if a lot of the women out there had that. They could say, oh no, he is there. He is a pillar. That will go a very long way.
I mean, thank you so much. I hope that anyone listening, you can always reach out to her. We're going to leave a link to reach her. So that you could maybe jump on a consultation call with her.
Yes, that's fine.
But I really hope that you see for yourself that there's obviously a light at the end of the tunnel. The tunnel might look like it's really dark, but you're going to look at your child someday and be like, yeah, it was worth it.
Definitely.
They are worth it. Let's talk a little now about weight management. And when I say weight management, I want us to talk away from the keto diets, on the calorie deficit, intermittent fasting, detox tea, 1 meal a day, and really get into the crux of it as to how much of weight management is really about our mindset and about our hormones and sleep and stress. Can you talk to me about that?
So let's start with stress. Especially for women. When you're a lot younger and you stress out, there's a tendency for you to lose weight. You're reading for your exams, you're doing all that. You say, you've lost weight. I'm really stressed. When you cross a certain age and you become in your 30s, nobody tells you that it switches. When you stress out, you put on weight because of cortisol.
Oh, yeah.
And it's quite unfortunate that the cortisol now, the weight it puts on for you, the fat, is visceral fat. Around your, so that's outside your diet. So you see, a lot of people have, in quote, done a lot about diet, and they're even telling you, I'm eating once a day now, but I'm still packing on the weight. I'm tired, I'm frustrated. But, while doing that, you might actually even be putting your body in a stressful condition, and you're actually compounding it.
That's
and we're living in a stressful world. It's fast-paced. If you don't catch up, in fact, it's almost like you're not a go-getter, you're not driven.
The hustle culture is ridiculous.
It is everywhere, and people are just trying to meet up. Yeah. We say now that one income in the household might not be enough, and we're still lucky in this part of the world where you could even have nannies. I have 2 nannies unapologetically. I've got a driver. Yeah. Abroad, it's expensive. It's expensive. My sister spends about over $100 a day just for them to sit in, not the full day, maybe 5 hours. She can't do that every day. So imagine, and it means she needs to work harder to be able to pay that and still be able to take care of the bills. So that stress just piles up. And you now find out because you're stressed, when you're stressed, you can't take good decisions on the food you eat.
Mm-hmm.
You'll binge eat. You'll be tired.
You can't meal prep.
Your brain, the first thing it thinks is the quickest thing. The quickest thing. Yeah. And that's how it just messes up. So you have the cortisol there. And also when it comes to hormones, there's the hormone leptin that makes you feel satiated. But the thing is, when your gut is disrupted, yeah, and you're eating a lot of processed foods, you don't feel full. As a bag of potato chips ever filled you, you keep going for it. Yeah, you don't eat one and stop. And I think those foods are naturally designed that way. They're filled with sugars or they're filled with salt. Mm-hmm. You're just coming for more and they're just empty calories. They're not doing much for you. And you just see you're just eating a lot of that. Mm-hmm. You're packing on the weight. And emotionally, so if you look at, I go back to the gut, yeah. The gut has what we call microbiome, yeah, and those are the group of bacteria, microorganisms that actually help in breaking down foods. They help in production of certain hormones, like the leptin I talked about. So imagine if your gut bacteria are whacked and they are rogue on you, yeah, you keep getting the wrong signals. Like, you're hungry. You're hungry, yes.
Everywhere.
It's just everywhere, you know. In the same gut, 90% of the hormone serotonin that helps regulate your moods is in the gut. And there's a connection, a nerve from your gut to your brain.
So you're always going to have mood swings.
You will have mood swings. You feel highly unhappy. You want to reach out to, if you have the worst of the gut bacteria, your cravings will be more of sugar and salt, the processed foods. So you're not craving healthy. So you see how all of this link up
together.
It affects your emotion. It affects your mental health. It affects your physical well-being. And once your gut, the gut microbiome is failing, or they're not, you don't have the best of the bacteria in there, before you know, it affects the structure of the gut. And some people start to have leaky guts. So there's now like little spaces in their guts. And when that happens, the gut is where you have your trash, in quotes. Yeah, because it's on its way out. Now imagine there's a gap. That tells you toxins starts to leak into your bloodstream. And next thing people are like, oh, I'm tired, I'm fatigued. All the time, I don't even know what's wrong. Yeah. So it just builds up into inflammation and other diseases.
I mean, so look at that. So what I want us to talk about now would be, I know that there are certain foods that we can have to improve our gut health. I'm a big sucker for Greek yogurt, ski yogurts too. What other food though do you think we have in a country that could help with fixing gut biomes? I mean, your probiotics. That could help maybe correct the. Is it possible to do that?
Yes, it's very possible.
Okay.
And it's all around us. Yeah. Our fruits and our veggies.
Look at that.
People take for granted. And now, by the way, I understand fruits have become very expensive too.
Sure.
But look at it this way. I priced a particular orange and the guy said 200. And I walked away. I was like, what the heck? One. 200. This is local. It's not imported. why? And I understand.
A slice of watermelon is 300.
I understand the supply chain, the transportation has become very expensive. Then we have agricultural issues. Then issues around farmland security and all, food security. So when you layer all that, it might maybe resolve to that cost we're seeing. But if I was to take that versus soda is still not expensive.
Do you know, right, that I've not had soda in about 5-8 years.
Okay.
For me, primarily because, I'm going to tell you two things. My dad is very diabetic, like very prone to diabetes. He has diabetes, right? So on the flip side, my mom has quite low sugar, right? Very regulated one. Okay? My dad's family has a very strong history of diabetics. I've got an uncle that's died from it, blind, got amputated, and all of that.
Okay.
Now, me trying to be very intentional about it, I cut out soda completely.
Okay.
For me, right, I reduce. I don't like rice, but I like eba. So I reduce how much rice that I take. Do you know, it turns out that I later on had hypoglycemia. So unlike my dad, I was with my mom. And then when I went to the hospital, I was told to take soda because apparently there's something that it does to the brain, yada yada, when like my sugar is really low. But at the end of the day, I would easily have been that person that would say, oh, because I was asked to take soda because I've got hypoglycemia, I'm just going to always take soda. But what I did instead was to be intentional about having carbs in my food, right? So I started to make my own meals. I was underweight at the point. I was in my 20s and I was weighing about 45 kg.
Oh, wow.
Very underweight, And then I had to change everything around. I had to start to make my own meals. I had to start to meal prep. I had a handful of carbs because at the point what I really needed was to fix my sugar levels to balance enough. Had a lot of carbs. Got into the gym.
Okay.
Because now I moved from just wanting to be, weight balanced, wanting the glutes, So I got in the gym. I started to eat right, and I balanced out my blood sugar to be normal, not low, not high, just well enough. But I find that maybe because I don't think sugar is sweet though.
Okay.
I don't know. I think honey is sweet, right? But like sugar is
okay.
But I find that lots of people are addicted to the caffeine in soda, right? And they are always at it. I do you want to go far? But I know people that for everything that they eat, there's a bottle of soda that goes with it.
Okay.
So I want for you, right, in your authority, to quickly tell them the reason why water is cheaper than soda.
Yes.
And why water is better for them.
Now to just quickly point out why you were the hypoglycemic thing. So the fuel for the brain is glucose. Yeah. And that's why you'd see people will tell you, oh, maybe faint. They'll say, oh, bring Coke.
Me, yeah, that was me.
Have a quick. But also, unfortunately, hyperglycemia also has the same symptoms. So you could actually also feel dizzy. There are people that have gone into coma literally because they pumped them with more sugar. Yeah. And so it's always good to know the state of your health. Now, for people, there was a time someone had this illustration and said, imagine you had like a white handkerchief, like would you, and imagine that's your body, would you imagine you pouring like a malt drink every day? Like, would you want the state of your body to look like that? Yeah, that water has a cleansing effect. We have different organs in the body that need to be hydrated. So it's important we take water depending on your body size, but it's advisable about 2 to 3 liters of water every day. Mm-hmm. We don't do enough justice to that. And you would, I've interviewed clients, whereby I'll ask, how much water do you drink? Like, oh, I take water. And you're like, okay, so what's the quantity? Like, at least I've had this bottle all day. A 50 cl bottle. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's still water in it. I'm like, guy, you should have been on your 3rd bottle by now. So because we don't even measure it, and people assume, oh, I'm drinking a soft drink, a soda. No, it counts also. But some of those drinks have the caffeine, which are also dehydrating agents. Mm-hmm. So they dehydrate you. So you think you're hydrating, meanwhile you're dehydrated. So it's important that people realize that it's cheaper to have water. Now, I know some people may say water is boring. Yeah. But you could have it in different forms. So if you're not used to having your water bland, just a normal room temperature, you could choose to have it cold. Mm-hmm. If you feel it's not enough, if you can afford it, you could have sparkling water. Mm-hmm. It will give you that feeling of you having a soda. You could squeeze a bit of juice to it to give it taste. For some people, they would put like Celtic salt in it, or maybe Himalayan salt or black salt to boost, so as to kind of transform the water to like an electrolyte. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're getting nutrients, but it also has a bit of flavor.
You're also feeling your body too. So
there are different ways you could
spice up your water.
But by all means, drink the water. You have to. It's required. A lot of people are dehydrated. Sometimes you have a headache and you think, well, you're just dehydrated. You just need water. And a lot of people have lost the ability to sense when they're thirsty. If you go on an exercise and you say, okay, for the next 3 days, let me be intentional about drinking this water, and you start to drink it, you will almost reprogram your brain to understand you're thirsty. You're not hungry. Yes. You now understand that cue where you're like, oh, I'm actually thirsty. I'm not hungry. But a lot of people have lost that sensation. They don't know when they're thirsty. So they just go about day in, day out, not drinking enough water. Yeah, and water is life.
Getting in me. that was really informative, right? Let's talk again about something that we often always overlook. And it will be sunlight and sleep.
Okay.
Now, in Nigeria, we do have plenty of sun. But sometimes when it's so hot, it feels like someone opened the gate of hell because of how hot it gets in the country. Well, even at that, statistics shows that about 70% of Nigerians are deficient in vitamin D.
Okay.
And I read somewhere that a deficiency in vitamin D lead to fatigue, a weakened immunity, mood swings, and what have you. So what I want us to talk about then would be for Nigerians that are sedentary, don't always have exposure to the sun. Look me, right? When I get into the office, if I don't have to go and if I'm going for a meeting, we're in a car, the AC is, on, the windows are wound up. Even when I'm going out, I have sunscreen on my face. Right? Yeah. What do you think we could do as sedentary people to ensure that practically to ensure that we get, according to what they say, 15 to 30 minutes of sunlight a day?
So first, you having that knowledge that it's harming you, not getting out into the sun. And because, and a lot of us are guilty of it. So long as you're not like that labor worker that walks under the sun, because they are getting too much of it.
See,
they're getting too much of it. But so long as you're not that, you find out that day in, day out, you get into your car. And imagine Lagos, whereby you're up very early, you get in, you're in the office all through, you get out. A whole month, literally a whole month, and sun has not touched your skin.
True.
Yeah. And so we have to be very intentional about that. And I was writing an article and I was like, okay, what could even the workplace, what could employers do? Yeah. Ensuring that the way the offices are designed, they are in, is very important. You could just have an alarm that triggers you, say, at about 9 o'clock. Yeah, you just go out for a 15 minutes walk, just round the premises, because this is for your own good. You could intentionally say, okay, you know what, over the weekends, it might be tough to do it during the week. For Saturdays and Sundays, let me do that. Let me exercise. Let me walk around. While I'm walking, the sun hits me. So those are those intentional times where you could say, okay, let me do this. And imagine if you're exercising and the sun is heating your skin and you're sweating, it's almost like 3 for 1. It's not even because you're exercising, you're improving your mood. Yeah, it would help your sleep. The sun is coming in. It will help you produce vitamin D, and you'd also sweat,
which is good.
Yes, because the skin is a channel for detoxification. So that's why I say you're getting like price 3 for 1. Yeah. So it's important that we understand. And sometimes some people say, oh, you're trying to prevent skin cancer. The reality is research has it that it's not the sun responsible for the skin cancer. Yeah. They have done several research abroad in places like Sweden, Finland, and it's not the sun. Imagine, yes, we understand global warming, and we've stripped the layers, that protects us from UV rays, and no one is saying go sit in. But trust me, the 10 to 30 minutes, it's enough to help you produce the vitamin D you need. If you see people are more abroad, people are more depressed during the winter season because they're not getting any form of sunlight in those times. And you need the sun to heat your skin. Yeah, it helps your sleep. It helps your body clock in your brain, because as the sun rises, your body tells you, okay, it's day, or it's bright. Certain hormones too are building up to help you sleep for that time when it's night and you can get good sleep. But when you never get exposed, it's always dark. You go in from the car straight to the office, like that. Your body is even confused. Like, okay, is it daytime? Is it nighttime? And there was this research that Matthew Walker, a renowned sleep expert, quoted, and he said something around that during daylight savings, when you lose 1 hour and all that, there's this research that has been found that there are more accidents that happen.
Which is that?
Just that 1 hour that people lose. So we take these things for granted. but it's so important.
You know, like you already have started to talk about sleep. And I feel rather attacked, right? Let's see. I slept by 3 o'clock. I had work. I had a lot of work. Now, it's not always like that, but some days it's just how it is.
Okay.
Now, the typical Lagosian, a lot of Lagosians, wake up at 4 o'clock, gets on the road 4:30, 5 o'clock, get to the office 7 o'clock, gets on their day, leave the office at 5:30. Get home at 11:30. They have to eat. They have to maybe take care of children. They probably sleep at 1 o'clock. I hear that the good enough amount of sleep is about 8 hours. And I don't think a typical Nigerian, a typical Lagosian gets up to 5, right? And from everything that you have said, you have highlighted categorically importance of sleep. I do know that there are a lot of people like me. I think there was a time when we had this conversation in the office, or we're talking about sleep, and I said that I have to listen to ASMR. I've been listening to, I'm not proud of it, but I've been listening to ASMR. The amount of data I have spent on ASMR in the past 5 years can buy me a little car.
Wow.
Yes, because I play it throughout the night.
Nice. Okay.
And when I'm having a very stressful day, I listen to ASMR. And I find that works for me. However, it sounds really weird for a lot of people. In fact, the person behind camera crew, right? He tells me his wife is also an ASMR addict, right? So there are lots of us that our coping mechanism is ASMR. However, what do you think could help people that have deregulated sleep try to sleep better? What do you think could help them, fall asleep a lot faster?
Sometimes it's also in your routine. The brain is very intentional and very adaptable. So once you build a routine whereby you start to do things that gradually leads to I'm about to sleep, the brain starts to shut down. So for instance, if it takes you much longer to sleep, you might build in like 3 hours prior to that time. So for some people, they'll say, okay, start dimming the lights in the house. Yeah. For some, it's get off the gadgets because you really need to, because of the blue lights, they mimic sunlight in your brain. So the brain feels, oh, you're still awake, yeah? Still be up. You need to check the temperature of where you're staying because we sleep better when it's cold. You need to ensure that you don't have, here we have mosquitoes. You can have a good night's sleep if you have them buzzing. Yes, in your ears. You need to get into maybe a reading of, reading a novel or an article, something that doesn't trigger you to want to go on, because you could then pick something that, oh my God, I'm done with episode 1. I want an episode 2. I want an episode 3.
One time what I used to do then was to read the Bible.
Okay. To fall asleep.
And then when I'm going to, sleep, I just pray and, and I found that it worked. I only stopped because, maybe that wasn't really the most efficient way of reading the word. But I find that, when you said read something that doesn't get you to hyper focus and, sort of like relaxes you. For me, I think like the Bible helped with that. So I strongly agree that it works.
Yes. So building up that momentum, sometimes for some people, they're sleeping on the wrong mattress. Look at that. They've got the wrong pillow. I had to literally change. There was a client once that told me she'd had this nagging neck pain for like 2 years and it doesn't help her sleep well. And I was like, oh, really? I said, okay, can you bring your pillows? So she bought like 10 pillows down that day and said, see all my pillows. And I was like, wow. So the feather, the fibre, everything, she's got the whole works. And I was like, okay, I think you need a memory pillow.
What's that?
It will snug like the shape of your head.
Oh,
yeah, memory foam.
I'm gonna have to go look that.
So, and she was like, oh wow, okay. Then, I told her I want to see you sleep. So put the pillow, we mimicked, and she slept. And I was like, the problem is you've got a gap between your shoulder and your head.
Oh my God.
And I told her, I said, it sounds weird, but I sleep with 2 pillows, a flatter one and the memory on top.
Okay.
So it kind of fills that space. Yes. So I don't have that gap. That was it. Simple. She's had, yes, like physio didn't help.
It's the little thing.
It's the little things. Because she met someone that had gone through something like that, and I was like, no, do this. I had a guy that he would snore. Yeah. And the first time I was like, I literally sat up and I was watching a night. Okay, what is the problem here? And I was like, oh, nah, it's a pillow. So the next day I was like, okay, if you don't mind, can we position your pillows? Yeah. You can't sleep with the hard one on top. Sleep with the softer one. Mm-hmm. And that was it. Something like you felt like, when someone pre-warns you, I snore. Mm-hmm. You know that it's bad. But that was it. That was the end to that. I was like, oh my God, the little things. Then the mattress. Mm-hmm. Sometimes soft mattresses don't do it for you. I can sleep on a soft mattress. I'll wake up not feeling rested. I use an orthopedic, and I got to know that when some years ago, I just felt comfortable sleeping on the floor. But sometimes it just gets too hard. Yeah. Then you're trying to lay out with a lot of blankets. But I was like, okay, if that's the case, then maybe my mattress needs to be a bit harder than what it is right now. And I haven't looked back since then. Yeah, so orthopedic. And I mean, some couples now, they do mattresses that are dual. So, the husband has the side of the bed and whatever, because...
You know what they fancy, right?
Exactly, because the other person might be a soft mattress person and the other person... Because people find it difficult to sleep on orthopedic mattresses. If it's not your thing, then it's not. Yeah. Yeah, so it's the little things, the ambience, the smell of your room, it matters. Some people have a dash, something to help them sleep. A dash of essential oil on your pillow, lavender, chamomile. Those things just help. It just sets the tone.
You down to.
So it's in those little things. It might not be the supplement, the melatonin supplement. It doesn't work for some people.
For some people, it's ASMR.
You do you. What works for you? Yeah.
Oh my God. Look, right. I think that's about all the questions that I have. This episode was an incredible conversation. Yes. Thank you so much for coming. We touched on a lot of topic: sunlight, gut health, postpartum wellness, weight management, nutrition, sleep, hormones. And it is one thing that I want to take away from this is that true health isn't a quick fix.
Definitely.
It's about creating the right conditions for your own body to thrive. It's about reminding ourselves, which you have done for me, that healing is possible.
Definitely.
And it starts from within, and it starts from the little things, from the intentional steps built up together. It just makes the whole big difference. So I think that to everyone listening, maybe today you want to take that very tiny step of drinking more water, of eating more nourishing food, buying extra ugu 300, shoko 500, water leaf 500. going out on a little sunlight work, exercising. Just give yourself permission to rest.
Definitely.
Because your body deserves it. And you do deserve it too. So if you would like to, how would they connect with you if they want to? Do we leave like a link for them?
Yes, we will leave.
I already said that we'll leave a link for them. And I mean, you could always go to her to learn more about holistic healthcare. And I hope that you reach out to her. I hope that, I mean, you've heard from her about, a couple of testimonials about the clients that she's worked with and the incredible results that they have gotten. But until the next time that I see you, take care of yourself. Take care of your health. Because health isn't a destination, it's a lifestyle. So stay well, stay vibrant, stay thriving, and stay winning. See you in the next episode of the LIMBsimple Podcast. I am Mosebolatan, and have a swell day.
What is the LIMBsimple story? It is not the story of high-ticket workshops held every month for 15 years. It is not the tale of massive halls, packed rooms, or the count of how many businesses we have worked with. No, the LIMBsimple story is deeper than that.
How can we know our limits if we don't attempt to exceed them?
It is a story of transformation, of becoming, of building with clarity, conviction, and community. It's the story of a farmer now hitting their first 1 billion naira, then 10 billion naira in revenue. It's the journey of an e-commerce dream, starting from scratch, now a force of 200 plus strong team, generating over 700 million naira every month. It's about a fish seller in the local market, crossing the 1 billion naira per month revenue threshold, not with magic, but with strategy that works. It's the rise of manufacturers exporting billions worth of goods to the world, and every month from Abuja to Benin, Osun to Ilorin, Lagos to London, Dubai, Qatar, Canada, they gather not just for knowledge, but for clarity, for community, for growth. We've seen real estate firms rise, built on integrity. We've built a trusted network where over 6.7 billion naira in business has passed between hands that trust each other. We've built businesses that don't just serve the CEO's dreams, but honor the ambitions of every staff member. This isn't about a guru telling you what to do. It's about walking with those who have been where you're going. It's about no fluff, simple strategies delivered by people who have walked the path. It's about 54 and counting businesses who've crossed their first or next billion naira with us. And once a year, in November, we gather at the LIMBsimple Strategy Growth Convention. We gather to learn, to connect, to sharpen each other, to share our stories and draw strength from the stories of others. We gather to be reminded of what's possible, to see what's working, to plan for what's next, to build better, smarter together. And yes, you can be a part of it. If your dream is bigger than your doubt, if your vision is clear, but your strategy needs clarity, if you know you're called to build something that outlives you, then this is your tribe. This is your time. This is LIMBsimple.